What's up, America? Neil here with Jogga Firearms Academy. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about one of the best belts on the market if you're looking for something in between this and something in between this. So let's get started. Today we're going to be talking about the Kore Executive Protection Belt. Who's it for and why would you want it and why do you need it? First of all, one of the unfortunate areas of our business as trainers is religious worship security teams and training them and kind of doing assessments on there. And one of the things that's unique about that type of environment, of course, is it's not dressed like I am now with my cool Kore camo belt on. Probably not ideal for the situation that we're at, or whatever your attire is there. It's probably going to be a little dressier than that, a little nicer than that. And Kore has had dress belts for a long time. Here's a perfect example. Now, Carl, who we consider one of our good friends and also to the channel, been with him forever. This is a gun belt. It has a Kore inside of it. This is an OG, it's an original. The reason I have to tell you this is because Carl will instantaneously notice that this belt is not the latest and greatest. He has an eye like no other. For example, although it has the same great functions of the track line and has the buckle, you'll see right here that there are no screws in it. It just has the teeth, and even just with the teeth alone, again, this is a very old model because they last forever and I've never had an issue. I don't want to digress, but I do want you to know they do make these and they have, and they're great belts. But what if you need just a little bit more? This, I can't say enough about. This guy here is the battle belt, and of course there's an inner belt that goes inside here. If you guys are not familiar with a duty belt or a battle belt setup, many times you're going to have an inner belt that goes around your waist, and then this happens to be Velcro. This is the hook side, and you put it all around, clip it in there. I got my holster from, with my thigh strap on it, extra tourniquets, a medical kit that I'm updating. We have dump pouches, mags. You can put a ton of weight on this. Where we're at here in Northeast Ohio, believe it or not, we live in an extreme environment. When I say that, I mean we have ranges that are not finished a lot of times, and they are, I don't even want to call it a dust bowl. We have something other. It's like a airborne cement. I don't know how to explain it to you, but I mean, I have a side-by-side, and when it gets caked on there, even with a 2,500 PSI power washer, if it dries on there, it is like, it takes hours to get that stuff off, and it gets in, when it's dry, it gets into everything. Why am I telling you this and why do you care? Because these are ratcheting buckles, they're mechanical, they are very heavy duty, and they have to interface with this track line. You can even see, I'll even show the camera here, you're going to be able to see the track line has kind of like creases here because there's just so much tension on it sometimes. Never, ever, ever has any Kore product failed me. We have experienced a lot of wear and tear on this equipment, and I am extremely impressed with that. How does this apply to the Executive Protection Belt? Why would you need that in comparison to these two? When Kim and I saw Carl at SHOT Show in 2023, we were talking about new products. He has another product that I have that I'll be showing later on. But this was one of the products I thought were very hot, again, because of how much work we do in, again, religious worship services. I can see how this could be a critical piece of kit for what you're doing there. We clearly can't have a battle belt, and nor would we even need one, but in a private security, off-duty police officer, I mean, I will certainly wear this off-duty, no questions asked. Whatever the case may be, where I still want to have some equipment with me, maybe even a little bit more than I would with my general EDC, but obviously I don't need a full loadout, right? I want something in between there. This is going to be the ticket for that. Now, with my favorite belts here from Kore, again, this has the screws. These are the most updated ones. It's got the track. I love it. If you're not familiar with the belt and how it works, basically the beauty of this is that it has this track line in there, and the track line allows you to make huge adjustments on the fly very quickly. It's got a Kore inside, an actual C-O-R-E, a Kore, so that you can't fold it in half. It's rigid. It produces the foundation you need to be able to holster your gun and keep everything where you want it to go, regardless of what you're doing, okay? And I can just press this little release down here. I'll show you on camera in a little bit. And I can make small adjustments, tiny little 1/4 inch adjustments. So if I want to wear more stuff inside the waistband. They don't want to really be concealed, but I need more equipment like an extra magazine or something, or I want to add a tourniquet or whatever the case is. I have that flexibility. I mean, right there it starts to click and I can click it all the way down till I can't even breathe anymore. What's the big difference between, again, the belt I'm wearing, even a more nicer looking, this is also a gun belt. It does have a core, so I can't flex that belt, but it's made of a leather for maybe nicer appearances than your camo, right? So this is the Executive Protection Belt from Core. And what this is a two belt system, as you can see on camera here. So you're going to have an inner belt just like you would. So if you are in security, law enforcement, where you're familiar with a duty belt, this is exactly what that is. But this doesn't obviously scream tactical. As you can see here, this is a very, very nice looking belt. Their buckles can be changed. You can go to their website. It's going to give you all the options that you would ever want. Core is very, very flexible with what you can accessorize and whatnot. And the one thing I can say about Core is they did not steal anybody's patent. They didn't rip anybody off. They're the OGs. They're the one that came up with this trackline system to begin with, which is why I always supported them and always will. As you can see, you have an inner belt there, but there's a little bit of difference. I'm going to pull this guy off for you guys so you can see, and obviously it's Velcro. So there's the hook, that's the more scratchy side on the outside, and the loop, which is on the inside. So this is what would go around your pants or your suit pants or dress pants or whatever it is that you're wearing. Now this is the outer belt, and again, Core makes it very clear on their website, which I highly recommend you go. We're going to put links on that. That you use this two belt system as a two belt system. This will click into the buckle itself, and then it's going to have this keeper. So I'll show you when I get a little wardrobe change here in just a moment on how that works. Both the outer and the inner belt need to be cut to size. I'm not going to go through that. Core has a great video. I'll put the link down below. Go watch their stuff. It's pretty straightforward. I don't even measure anymore. I just take another belt and kind of cut it because I've had so many of them. But nonetheless, this is the inner belt. And what's really impressive is this is not just, if you're familiar with a lot of inner belts from law enforcement or security, they're generally just nylon belts and there's really not much to it. But this one, again, there's actually some type of reinforcement in there. It's not as obviously anywhere near as strong as the outer belt, but as you can see, that thing is pretty stout. So even as an inner belt, this thing is very, very sturdy and provides a great foundation for being able to attach that outer belt. What do you get in the box? Well, obviously you're going to get your inner belt and your outer belt. These are pieces parts from what I cut mine out, which we'll talk about in a second. You're going to get a little goodie bag that's going to have a tool in here. What do you use the tool for? You're going to use a tool for actually tightening down the screws to make sure that that buckle will never come off. Never, never. I haven't had one come off that didn't have screws, so that one surely is not. They also give this really handy measuring tape already there for you. As you can see, I don't use it because I've had so many, I kind of can just measure the old ones. What I will tell you, other than please go watch the video that we have the link for that Core made for measuring your belt, please cut it bigger than you need. You can always cut it down, but you cannot make it bigger. Ask me how I know. I've had friends that have had them and they rush to get them on and then they have problems. They also give you this really nice color instructions, super cool. The most important thing about this whole instructions is right here. That will take you to the cool video for how to size your belt. Optional items, by the way, that they did send me so that you guys can see, and I've used these, is these hangers. These hangers are awesome. I use them all the time. You can either, if you have spare buckles like this, you just clip them on. They won't come off until you release them, just like you would take them off a belt. But they'll lock in there. You can have your full belts. That's how I keep mine. I hang them up here. You will also see this weird, at first, these like little brackets there. And generally, here's another one. This is for a duty belt. Oh, spoiler alert, might be coming soon. You'll see there's the tool itself. And so that tool is just allowing you to tighten down those screws. Nothing fancy, but very, very convenient. So if we're not going to be dressed like this, let's say we're going to be dressed in something like this. Now we got two problems. Here's number one. That's better. And then we have number 2. Now, although this might be a very cool belt, this is obviously also a core belt, great for the range and for out and about. Obviously, not ideal for this situation. So let's fix that next. Here you can see the webbing. This is the inner belt that you put on as the base. And again, here's the gap up here. That's going to allow this belt to be able to tighten up or loosen up when you tighten and loosen the outer belt. So you can kind of see how it looks. In addition to that, I'll show you at the end, there is this nice metal bracket piece that goes on the very end of it to make it nice and clean so it won't. I melted a little bit with a lighter as well just to make sure it doesn't fray. I'd never had that problem, but that's also a nice little piece to make it easier to get into your belt loops as well. Core also provides this nice belt loop. This is not a keeper in this, like if you're in law enforcement security, a keeper is basically what runs around 2 belts to keep the 2 belts together, but since it's Velcro, we don't really have to worry about this. But what this does have is that the loop Velcro instead of the hook, which this is all hook. And so you're going to be able to place this wherever you want and it'll just stay there so that when you actually run the belt around your waist, whatever the extra part is, you can put that way nice and neat so you can see that. So if you wanted extra because maybe you do different loadouts, so you're going to need more space at sometimes and expand and contract. And now we've solved the second part. So now we have a nice looking belt. It doesn't scream tactical in any way. It's completely adjustable as all the core belts are. Very, very comfortable. We can adjust this to quite a bit of a difference there depending on what we're wearing. Obviously with my suit coat closed, obviously you're not going to see the belt, but open without a suit coat, whatever the case is, the belt looks totally natural, normal, the way it would be. So if this is for, again, executive protection or for some type of worship service security team, this would be ideal for that. Where's the magic of this belt? Well, here it is. Obviously, this looks more like a duty belt for law enforcement, so I made this obviously pretty overbuilt for what most people are ever going to use this for. Most likely, if it's going to be some type of executive protection or worship service security, something like that, we're going to obviously have much less stuff. But I wanted to show you a little bit of the capabilities. So we have a radio on here. We have 2 full-size mags. We have more than a full-size gun here. This is the Walther PDP Pro with an optic, extended mag well, a light on here, the whole 9 yards. So what's cool about this is that obviously we can set our gear up, and then we're going to put this on just like you would a normal duty belt, really. Essentially, we're going to just take the clasp apart, and it's sliding around a little bit here because this is really not set up for the way I want it to. But we're going to put this on, and then we're going to cinch it up. For those of you who have never used a duty belt or anything like that, this is kind of how this works. Is really cool. The old duty belts of back in the days, there was just leather on leather, so it was just a smaller belt, and then you put a bigger belt on, and then you use keepers to put them on. I never had to deal with that. I always used the Velcro type or the Velcro inner, just like this belt, which is really cool. Because once you line the back up, like I have here, all right, it's just going to kind of sit here while I move my stuff around. So while putting this on, if I didn't like the way everything was arranged, this is my opportunity here. I can kind of move the gun around, whatever I need to do, and then I'm just going to feed this through. So we're going to get it started. I'll move my tie out of the way so you guys can see. Again, there's my gap for the inner belt, and then I'm just going to suck this together like so. And I can, again, it's the core, the beauty of the core. I can adjust it however I want to make it tighter or looser, but that looks pretty good. Gig line is lined up. I like that. So here's that end keeper there. Move my mags back just a tad. Put this guy on. And that's it. So that's nice and tight. Looks good. Okay. So we're throwing our outer. And by the way, again, I have my radio on here. I got 2 big mags. I got a full-size gun. Put our jacket back on here. Just like that. And there we have it. So now we have our full gig on here. I got my guns, my mags, all the stuff. I have a radio back here. Again, your loadout, how you guys are going to be set up, probably is not as much stuff as this. You know, might be a tourniquet and a smaller gun or something like that. Regardless, if you're going to load a lot of gear or not, the nice thing, the beauty about the whole core system is it's all adjustable. And again, if I were going to be sitting for a long time, I can just reach down. That's going to loosen this up under the table. Then I'm going to get back up. Before I do, I just cinch this up a couple clicks, and bam. Everything is rock solid. Nothing's moving around wherever I go. Just to show you here, The gun itself is not going to slide, not at all. That Velcro is all the way solid to the inner belt. It's not going anywhere. You also have to understand one of the real benefits of this belt, if you are wearing a lot of gear, is that these are dress pants, and unless you get some special tactical, I don't know, suit pant out there or something, the belt loops are not designed to be load bearing like they are in jeans or tactical, especially EDUs or things like that. So this takes the advantage of a true duty belt, okay, or even a battle belt for that matter, and puts it in a two belt system so the weight is distributed on the inner belt throughout your whole waist. So you don't have that issue. And by the way, it's very comfortable. So it's the end of the shift, end of the day, end of whatever, and we need to take all this stuff off. Here again, another advantage. I'm just gonna unclip that one keeper there that keeps the belt nice and tight. Let me move this out of the way for you guys. That keeps it nice and tight. Again, beauty of that, it's not going anywhere. It's Velcro to the inner belt, or to the outer belt, so it's got nowhere to go. And then I can simply unleash this, take the whole system right off. My radio just fell off, but that's okay. And there you go. It all comes off in one nice piece, and we're ready to go the next time we need to use it. Once we've removed that outer belt, we're still gonna have the inner belt on here. So this is really what holds your pants up. It's still nice and tight. Again, you can adjust that too by tightening the Velcro down a little bit further down the belt. There's plenty of adjustment there. That hex pattern there, it just allows that gap for flexibility. But while you're only wearing the inner belt, you know, it's going to still keep your pants up, everything that you need. So that's always convenient if it's going to be a time where maybe we're taking some gear off for a while, maybe you know, you're in between services or something to that nature, or you're on break and you want to take that off temporarily. Everything's going to be good to go. Put all your gear back on. Easy peasy. All right, guys, I hope you guys are excited about this product as I am. So if you're in private security or off duty or any type of religious worship service or security team, this is an outstanding option for you guys to go ahead and check it out. We'll put links down below. Again, check the links out for sizing and all that stuff. Go to Core for all the details as far as specs go, but you will not be dissatisfied. I promise you that. You guys know where to find us here on YouTube. You can find us on Rumble, Instagram, and on Facebook. Of course, we put all our premium content on Patreon. Until next time, remember, it's always better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.